right, hello, happy Monday. We're doing a free yoga class today. I know last week we did bar, and I believe the week before that we did another bar class as well. If you missed any of those classes, they are still they're still on Facebook, so you can go back and view them anytime you'd like. Today we're gonna focus a little bit more on the lower back, spinal movement, hips, and hamstrings. As always, if you ever have questions or comments or you have any requests, you can always type that down in the comments. And even if you don't make it to the live class, if it's something that you want to work on for next week, you can punch that down in the comments and we'll get going. So it's a good time to take these next couple minutes just to set up your space. If you want to put music on in the background, you're welcome to do that as well. Today we really don't need any props unless you're feeling a little tight. It might not be a bad idea to have a set of pillows or blocks or blankets just to protect the knees and bring the floor a little closer if you need that. So today we're going to start in extended child's pose, so bringing the knees wide to the mat. We'll extend the arms out down in front. Go ahead and drop your forehead down and just hold here for a couple breaths. Starting to let the day wash off, letting the arms rest heavy down on the floor. Starting to breathe deeply into the belly. So as you inhale, know the belly fill up with air. And exhale till empty. Maybe start to notice any tension you might be holding in the back of the neck or maybe in hips area. And if you do have any body discomfort, them to place a blanket between the knees. Just holding here for a moment. Letting the forehead be heavy down on the mat. And just starting to check in. Notice anything that might be feeling a little stiff today. Maybe the feet are hurting. You can always tuck the toes if you need to. But from here, go ahead and start to walk the hands over to the right side, trying to bring the torso over the right knee. Maybe even drop the left hand on top of the right, and then root the left sits bone down towards the floor, opening up through the left side body. Allow the head to hang heavy between the arms. Taking one more breath here. And then as you exhale, gently walk the hands back to the center and over to the other side. Taking your right hand on top of the left. Again, this time we'll root down through the right sits bone, trying to feel that expansion in the right side body. Using our breath to fill it up with some air, just to create that length and start to build and create space in the spine. And then go ahead and walk the hands back through center. Just taking one more mindful moment here, maybe setting an intention for your practice. And just know that anything that you might have had going on earlier today, maybe later this week, you can just go ahead and put all those responsibilities, those things you might be working towards, or things that might have been holding you back today. Just go ahead and allow those things to come and go as they please throughout your practice. So it's hard to kind of stay away from thoughts that consume us, but just know that they don't control you. And just take this time to get a little bit of body movement today. So on your next breath, whenever you're ready, we're going to begin to roll the spine up into a tabletop position, rolling the shoulders over the wrists and the knees below the hips. So keeping the feet flat on the floor, we'll keep the belly button pulled in towards the back of the spine. And if you do have a little bit of hyper expansion or extension in the arms or in the back, just go ahead and bring some soft bends, protecting those joints. And then start to just drop the tailbone down towards tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulders back and pull the heart through the arms, maybe lift the gaze up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, press the mat away from you, tuck the chin, round the upper back, and tilt the tailbone in towards that belly button. And again, inhale, arch the spine, roll the shoulders back, lift the heart. And then exhale, round it out. So just a couple more cat-cows with the own breath, arching and rounding. Maybe even start to sit back on an inhale, and then as you exhale, maybe even hinge over the wrists slightly, starting to get in a little bit more motion here. One more time, inhale, arch the spine, sit the hips back, and then exhale, round it forward, tuck in the chin. Go gently coming back through center here. When you're ready, we're gonna take the left leg, extend it back, pressing the top of the foot down into the back of the mat. Just get a gentle calf stretch, holding here. Another inhale, so very gentle warm up today. So moving through our practice a little slower today. Might feel a little tight this weekend. It was a on and off weekend, hot one day, cold the next, so the muscles might be a little bit confused. So then from here, just go ahead and lift the leg parallel up off the mat. Right arm will extend forward, reaching for opposite corners of the room. Then as you exhale, curl it in nice and slow. Think tiny little package. And then inhale, extend and reach. Good. Holding here, pressing your mat away. Inhale, curl it in. Exhale, reach. One more time. Inhale, curl it in. Hold for a moment. And then exhale, reach out. Now, you have the options to stay here, work on your balance. A little tip here is you can always tuck the right toes. That will help to aid as a kickstand. Otherwise, you're gonna stay right here. Maybe the back knee bends. You can reach back with the hand, press into the hand, and then look over the right shoulder. Now, if this is not available for you, it's not the end of the world. This is just another alternative move that you can come into. Really think about arching the back here, rolling your shoulder. Good. And then from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the left knee and place it on top of the right calf. So take time here getting there. Again, putting that left knee right on top of the right calf. We're gonna give a little external massage to the right calf. So driving your left knee into the top of that right leg, just start to make small circles into the calf. And depending on how tight your calves might be, you don't have to drill the knee on top, but just gentle circles, starting to massage out that fascia, creating a little bit of space. And static holds are also okay. So if you have really tight calves today, consider just pushing down onto any tight spots that you might tend to roll out with a foam roller. You can just hold that pressure there, and that will help dive into the connective tissue and just do a little repair. So otherwise, you can just continue with some circles, going counterclockwise and then rotating it the other way. And then go ahead and softly release. Switching it up, other side, right leg will extend back, holding here. Pressing that calf out. This I actually might feel like a little bit of a release right now for that right calf after we just massaged it out. Feel free to stay right here. You can move forward and back. Again, it's a gentle release. But then when you are ready, we're gonna lift that leg parallel to the mat. Left arm will extend up. Inhale, curl it in. And exhale, extend out. Remember, another option, you can tuck the left toes just to aid as a kickstand. Inhale, curl it in. And exhale, press it out. Good. Two more. Inhale. Think tiny little package. Exhale, reach and extend. Last one, curl it in, this time hold. And exhale, reach out. Good. From here, you're welcome to stay here, work on the balance, or you're gonna reach back, hold on to that foot, press the foot into the hand, and just open up a little bit. Now, depending on your flexibility, you might be able to go a little higher, or you might be down here. So there's no right or wrong, whatever's feeling good. And remember, this is only an option. Might be a little too early for something like this, so just do what you can, but continue to work through it. So really using your breath, twisting towards that left shoulder, and then when you're ready, softly release. We'll put the right knee on top of the left calf and set up for those calf rolls. So using the knee to, again, either hold a static hold, or you can do a couple of circles, massaging out that calf muscle. It's a pretty thick muscle, so just work through it. One side you might notice might be a little tighter than the other. And then rotate the other way. Ooh. Felt that. And then go ahead and gently release. So just for another release, we're just gonna take that left leg. Even though we already did it, we're just gonna press that heel back. So just adding a little stretch here. Now to go ahead and release both calf muscles, tuck the toes, press into the heels. Let's bring our knees up to a hover, and then very gently press back, downward facing dog. So first one of the afternoon, feel free to pedal it out, work out those calves. We're gonna focus on the hamstrings and make sure the neck is nice and relaxed. So shaking out the head, yes and no, nodding up and down. And then just imagine that somebody's pressing between the shoulder blades, directly in the center, pushing your heart down towards the mat, finding that deep back stretch. Good, one more breath here. And exhale out. Good, from here, go ahead and shift to a high plank. A little bit of core action here. Go ahead and drop the right knee down. Keep the foot nice and flat. And then come onto the outer edge of that left foot. Another little tip here, take your right foot. You're just going to windmill it out so you have a little bit of a kickstand, and then extend that left arm up towards the ceiling. Think about rolling the ribs back. Left arm will come up. Any pain in the hand, you can always keep that hand down towards the lower sacrum or down towards the hip. So whatever's feeling better. Good. We're gonna do another little spinal exercise here. So on your next inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, reach up and over the head, really lifting the ribs up as high as you can. Good, one more breath here, inhale. And exhale, send the ribs back down to neutral. Two more just like that. Inhale, reach up and over. Exhale, back through center. And last time, inhale, reach up and over, hold here. And then exhale, come back through center. Good, now pressing the top of your right foot down into the mat, we're gonna come up into a T. If you have any issues or any pain underneath the knee, this is a good time to just place a small pillow or a small blanket underneath. Otherwise, we're gonna take that left hand, let it slide down the left leg as the right arm comes up and over, stretching out that side body. Same thing here. Inhale, come back up to a T. And then exhale, windmill over. Good, two more. Inhale, up to a T. Exhale, hinge over. Good, inhale, windmill up to a T. Drop the right arm down, left leg comes parallel. Hold here. Just another tip. If you feel yourself shaking, you can always tuck the right toes. That will help aid as a kickstand. Otherwise, hold here. Find your balance. Second option, you can always bend the left knee, grab onto the ankle, and then arch the spine, looking up over the shoulder. So a little bit more advanced moves this week as we transition into these spinal movements. Good, one more breath in. Now, as you exhale, go ahead and look down towards your right hand. And if you do fall out, that's okay, just come right back in. And see if you can just guide that left knee up to the top of the mat. Holding here, we'll place one hand on either side, and then when you're ready, just go ahead and sink in for a lunge, drawing your shoulders back. You might need to take your right foot and scooch it back some, any amount, just so we're not toppling over or feel like we're in an awkward position. So adjust to your body, see what feels good, and then take your pelvic floor, drive it down. This is a good point. You can always put in 2 blocks if you feel like right here is a little bit too strenuous for the hips. So if you feel yourself pulling up, you might want to consider grabbing up just a couple blocks or books, whatever you have lying around, just for a little bit of extra support so we can come into these a little more smoothly. Otherwise, just hold your low lunge. Allow yourself to relax down in the pelvic floor. Nice and long in the neck. One more breath in here. And exhale. Good. From here, pressing into the left heel, we'll straighten the front leg to the best of our ability. If you still have a small bend, because you might be a little tight today, that's all right. And then stay here. Now, some of you might feel real flexible today, and you might want to go all the way back. So this is an alternative move that you can come into. It really just depends on how you're feeling. Second option here, you might notice you can flex your foot. So that's always an option. There's always different places you can go. Trying to keep a nice neutral spine. We don't want to round too much here. Try to keep that heart open, pressing forward and hinging your hips down towards the heel. Now just see if you can get a little bit of stillness. And just go ahead and take a couple breaths in. Good. Last 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Last one in. And then exhale. Let's take it forward. Good. From here, go ahead and tuck the right toes. We'll send the left leg back, holding a plank for just a moment, shaking out those hips. And then gently set the knees down. Keep the toes tucked. Gaze comes forward. We'll lower the body down all the way to the floor. Flatten the feet. And bring the forearms in front for Sphinx pose. So elbows will be slightly in front of the chest, shoulders will draw back, keeping that heart lifted up. This is just a very gentle back bend. We'll get into some deeper ones later. Think about pushing your hip bones down into the floor. One more breath here. Good. And then exhale softly. Release, taking your hands to the chest and push all the way back just for a counter pose, child's pose. Relax the forehead down. And just take a minute. If you want, you can stay active in the arms. Feel free to lift the forearms up off the mat, just staying high up under the fingertips. Or if you're feeling a little relaxed today, keep those forearms down. And last breath in. And then exhale, go ahead and take it back up through center. So we're gonna come into a little bit of a different variation of cat-cow. So rather than going down and rounding up, we're gonna draw circles with the spine. So as you inhale, think about rounding upwards. And then as you exhale, just roll it over to the right, just like your jumping rope with the spine. And over to the left, massaging out the hips and back up through center. Couple more. Inhale, rolling forward and rounding up. We'll do one more this direction. And feel free to get as exaggerated as you'd like with this. Swaying through the hips. You can rotate on the wrists. Back through center, and then go ahead and again, we'll press the mat away, roll it to the left, arch the belly down, and shifting it over to the right. So 2 more times. Again, try to move with your own breath. My voice is just here as a guide. And up through center. And then last time. So just rolling it out and taking it back up. Awesome. So from here, we're going to get into those side body stretches. I'm just going to rotate on my mat just so you can see, and my back is not to you. So from here, go ahead and take your right leg out to the side, trying to get all 4 corners down. So that's safety, little safety note. Try to get all 4 corners of your foot down on the mat. You can always take those left toes and cross them out. And we're gonna just twist our right arm up towards the sky. If you notice any pain here, you can take the arm down to the hip. That's always an option. So otherwise, just hold here. Really reaching up. And we're gonna take the right arm up and over the head. So as you inhale, reach the arm up and over, lifting the ribs up towards the ceiling. Back to center. Good. And again, inhale, reaching it up and over. Back through center. And last one, inhale, reaching up and over. Back through center. Good. This time we're going to come all the way up. So coming up into a T, again, we're gonna come down the right side of the leg. So inhale, right hand slides down, left arm comes up and over for a stretch. And back through center, trying to grow taller here, try not to cave in. Inhale, arch up and over. Back through center. And any amount is fine. Inhale, reach up and over. If you notice this is a lot on the arm, you can always take it behind the head as well. And back through center. Good. This time, the left arm is going to come all the way down to the mat. As the right leg comes parallel, feel free to tuck those left toes just for support. Good. Now you have the option to stay here or you can come into that bind. So feel free to hold onto the ankle, arch the spine, open up through the shoulder. See what's feeling good. Otherwise, again, stay in that hold. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. And last deep breath in. And go ahead, release down child's pose. Sit the hips back. Just a little bit of a counter pose, giving the spine a break. And then when you're going to roll the body forward, elbows drawn in, chaturanga, send it all the way down to the floor. This time we're just gonna come up for baby cobra. So keeping your fingertips close to the chest, elbows drawn in, shoulders roll back, using those upper back muscles, just lift the chest up off the floor. You don't wanna muscle through this one too much, just maybe even lift up the hands and then bring them back down. Think about rather than pushing your belly into the floor, pushing the hip bones down. See if that helps bring you up any higher, taking just 1 more breath. And then as you exhale, go ahead and press all the way back, child's pose. And relax down here. So again, this is just a good time to catch your breath, reset the back a little bit. We're gonna get into a little bit of deeper postures. We're gonna come into those hip stretches on the right. So when you're ready, go ahead and round the upper back, come back up into a neutral position, and taking that right leg, see if you can step it all the way up to the front of the mat, sinking into that lunge. Again, any pain down in the pelvic floor, or if you feel like you're muscling through this, you can take a couple blocks just down by either side. That's gonna help lift that tension up off the legs, and you can just bring the floor a little bit closer to you. But if you feel okay here, feel free to stay here. Left leg can scooch back if you're feeling a little flexible. When you get there, go ahead and relax down into it, staying soft, kind to the knees. And 1 more breath in. And then from here, go ahead and shift the hips back towards the left heel. And if you are pretty tight in the hamstrings, your left knee might not come completely straight, and that's okay. Feel free to play around and flex the right heel if that feels all right. And if you are a little bit more flexible and you want to sit all the way back towards that left heel, that's fine. Otherwise, just stay right here. And 2 more breaths in. And exhale, hinge. So one thing just to keep in mind in stretches like these, one side might feel a little bit different than the other. So it's always good to just be a little bit mindful about that. So don't feel that each side has to mirror one another. You can always make different adjustments for different sides. You might need to tuck the toes on one side, or you can keep the foot flat. So just keep in mind those little changes. You can always make adjustments as you need. Good, last breath in here. And then as you exhale, go ahead and roll it forward. We'll just stretch it out a little bit. Forward lunge. From here, go ahead and tuck the left toes, press through the back heel, lift that back quad up, and then drive the right leg back and up towards the ceiling and gently set it down. Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward facing dog, pedal out the feet, stretch it out here. And just be mindful, we want to keep the fingertips nice and wide. Maybe think about externally rotating those arms, lifting the hips up, and then go ahead and relax them back towards the back of the mat, holding here, and sigh it out. Good, inhale, look up towards the thumbs. We'll rotate it forward, high plank, dropping the knees down, flatten the feet, lower all the way down to the floor. Now, depending on how the back is feeling, you might want to come up into one more baby cobra. But if you feel like your spine is feeling pretty good, pretty warmed up, go ahead and come up into a full cobra. And then if you want to just go a little bit further, you can come into up dog. So remember, cobra, you have your thighs resting down. In up dog, just the tops of the feet and the hands are down. So you should be able to swing your hips if that feels okay. If that feels like it's a little bit too much, just go ahead and drop the thighs down. Lifting up the chest, try not to have them up by the ears. We want to push the mat away from us. Keep that heart open. And then as you exhale, go ahead and rotate it back, downward facing dog. And one breath in, and one breath out. Nice. From here, go ahead and look up towards the thumbs. We'll bend the knees, walk step, or lightly hop, depending on your energy levels. Halfway rise, hands to shins, creating that flat back. So press the heels down into the floor, stay soft in the knees. And then when you're ready, take hands to the hips, drop the head, push down through the heels, and roll the spine up one vertebrae at a time, slowest you move today. And just gently press your fingers towards the hips, lift the heart to the ceiling, little back bend. Good, slowly come on up. And if you see a couple stars, that's okay. I always do when I do those. So from here, arms are gonna float up above the head, reach up towards the ceiling, maybe a little back bend, and then exhale, swan dive down, hands to shins, halfway rise. Small little sun salutation here. Exhale through fold. Good, from here, go ahead and deeply bend the knees, and we're gonna take a giant step back with the left foot. So pressing the heel back towards the back of your mat, right knee is about right above that right heel. And then if you'd like to modify this pose, if you're new to yoga, consider dropping the left knee down just for a little extra support, setting up your foundation, and then when you're ready, you can rise up. Planting your left hand down next to the right heel, twist the right arm up towards the ceiling. And if you'd like, you can come up a little higher just by lifting up that back quad. So imagine that there is a string attached to the back quad, lifting it up. Here, any tension in the arm or the shoulder, you can always take that hand down by the hip. And again, modified version, you're going to keep that left knee down the whole time. Otherwise, by bring your right hip down towards the mat, we'll stay here for a couple breaths. Inhale, reaching up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, start to rotate open. So getting a little bit of a spinal twist here. And one more breath in. And exhale, rotate that right hand down. So from here, coming into a wide runner's lunge. Again, I'm going to show a modified version and an extended version. So if you want to, go ahead and drop the left knee, hinge that hip back. Feel free to flex the foot if that feels good for you. If you feel your knee locking and you don't feel the stretch up in the hamstring, try to bend the right knee, see if that changes or shifts anything. Taking a couple breaths here. Now, if you are a little bit more flexible today, you might want to try an extended runner's lunge. So feel free to tuck the left toes, extend that back heel, and continuously try to lengthen through the spine. So lengthening through the crown of the head. We want to avoid that rounding in the back. Try to keep a flat spine, heart open, and just hinge the right hip back as that left hip is hinging forward. And stay here for a couple breaths. Good, one more breath in. And exhale out, good. Send that right knee back over the right heel. This time we're gonna take our right hand to the inside of the right foot. So we're gonna get a little bit deeper into our hip rotations, our hip exercises. When you're ready, set the left knee back down to the floor, flatten the foot. And you're gonna have a couple different ways you can go about this next one. So coming into lizard pose, feel free to drop onto the outer edge of your right foot. So you can come in right here, and you might want to take your right hand and just gently press open, not to rotate open the hip or force it open too much, but just to allow that external twist in the torso. And if this isn't available, if the ankle's a little tender today and the foot doesn't really want to reach up, just see if you can get your hands down on either side, or excuse me, on the same side of the foot. And if another option here, you do have your blocks or your books or your pillows, you can always come down to the elbows. So it doesn't always have to look just like this, as long as you're getting the stretch and you're not pushing to the point of pain. So in yoga, you never want to push to the point where you're hurting yourself. We just want to get to that edge where we can't breathe and we realize we're doing yoga. And that's not 100% accurate either. So just go ahead, find a sweet spot, stay there and work through it with your breath. And I'll stay here. Okay, last breath in. And then go ahead and flatten the right foot. Your elbows come back up to the hands. And then one more time, we're gonna tuck the left toes, press through the heel, and we're gonna walk the hands back towards the left foot. So just start to walk the hands back to the left foot till you come into a wide-legged lunge. And holding here down in center. Think about your head resting heavy. Maybe the hands come to opposite ankles. And you can even hold onto the shins, depending on where you are. Just think about getting the crown of the head lower down towards the mat. And if you want, you can always take the arms underneath the body. So these are all different options, whatever works for you. Good. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, walk the hands back underneath the chest. We'll come up, halfway rise. And then exhale, walk the hands to the left foot. So this time we're going to be probably facing the back of our mat. Gently set the right knee down. We're gonna set up on the other side. So rather than turning the whole body around, we're just walking towards the back of the mat. So left foot is in front, right knee is behind. We're gonna plant the right hand down, setting up for that twist. So go ahead and bring the left arm up towards the ceiling this time. Twisting through the torso. And if you want that extra challenge, you're going to lift that back quad up off the mat and hold here. Pressing your right heel towards the back of the mat, driving your left hip down. Couple more breaths. And inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. And exhale, twist. And one more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. Good. And then look down towards the hand. We'll bring the left hand down. This time it should be foot, hand, hand. And then when you're ready, gently drop the right knee down and flatten the foot. And we're gonna come into that extended runner's lunge. So when you're ready, shift the hips back. Maybe the left heel flexes, stretching out that hamstring. Or if you want to come into that deeper variation, tuck the right toes, press through the back heel, and flatten out the spine. So one good way of remembering to flatten out the spine is imagine that someone is about to eat dinner off of your back. So you want to just imagine that you're trying to balance a plate on your spine, holding it here. So if it was rounded, the plate might roll off. So really focus on keeping that back as straight as you can. At the same time, we're gonna take the left hip, drive it towards the back of the mat, and the right hip is rotating forward. And then take an inhale through the nose. Try to find a little stillness. We'll work through this with the breath. Good, so we're building flexibility by holding these poses today. And And last breath in. And then as you exhale, bring the left knee back over the left heel, set the right knee down, flatten the foot, and we'll take our left hand back to the inside, coming onto the outer edge of the left foot. So we did the same thing on the other side, we're just evening it out now. So feel free to come down to the elbows if that's available. If that's not available for you, that's okay. You can stay right up on the hands. And another option here is just to add that gentle push. So you don't want to muscle through this. It's just a gentle assist, opening up the hip, staying here, rolling your shoulders. So the idea is to get into a posture that you feel you could hold just for a few breaths. So if you need to come out of it slightly just to get there, that's okay. Don't feel like you have to go 110% on these. It's just yoga. It's just shapes. And last breath in. And then exhale, let's come out of it nice and gently. Good. From here, go ahead and tuck the right toes. Press through the heel. We'll walk the hands back to the inside, coming into that wide straddle stretch. So toes point forward, heels are back. Relax the neck and soften the upper body to come down. Good. Maybe try a new variation this time. So if you didn't grab the ankles or the calves, maybe hold on to those. Maybe walk the hands under the body. Or maybe just bring opposite hands to opposite elbows, swaying it out side to side. So these are all options. See what feels good. So pushing the heels into the floor, lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Last breath in. And then as you exhale, walk the hands underneath the chest, press into the floor, come halfway up. We're gonna add some twists in here. So planting your right hand down on the floor directly below the chest, you want to avoid putting that hand between the feet. So we want to create space. So when it's back here, it's really hard to create that space. So we're gonna put it right below the chest. That's gonna lengthen the spine even more. Taking your left hand to the left hip, rotate through the torso, and maybe even bring that left arm up. And holding here, a couple more breaths. And then rotate the left arm down, right arm will twist up. Breathing into the ribs, finding that roll. And then rotate the right arm down. Good, so pressing into all four corners of the left foot and right foot. We'll take our hands to the hips, stay soft in the knees, push down through your base, flat spine, come all the way up. And then we're gonna meet in Tadasana, top of the mat, where we started. So you can either hop the feet in, and cracking all over the place, or you can step the feet in. It's completely up to you. So just because I teach you, I'm not feeling it too. So we'll start here in Tadasana. Hands are going to come down by the side. Fingertips are nice and wide. Shoulders will roll back. We'll press the heels down into the floor. And then just go ahead and bring the arms up above the head, reaching up towards the ceiling. And rather than arching our spine here, let's just keep that tailbone locked down, belly button pulled in, and reaching up. A little bit of a body stretch. So holding here. And then as you exhale, we'll take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, roll the shoulders back and down. And if you notice this is really hard for you to do, a secondary option is you can always hold on to a towel just to create that space between the arms, especially for men. I know you guys have a little bit broader shoulder than women do, or if your shoulders are just tight in general, clasping the hands might not be an option. So feel free to hold on to a towel or a belt or any kind of strap that you might create. And eventually you'll be able to walk the hands closer together. So as you inhale, roll the shoulders back, press the hips forward, lift the chest up towards the ceiling, and then on your exhale, go ahead and rotate it down towards the mat as the arms float up towards the ceiling. Relaxing the neck, staying soft in the knees. If you need to bring a deep bend to the knees, that's okay. But continuously think about pressing your hands up over the head and hold here. So just creating that space between the discs. And exhale, release the arms down to the floor. Good, hands to shins, halfway rise. And then exhale, back down. Good, press into the heels, roll the body up towards the ceiling. Arms are gonna float above the head, reach up. And then exhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Rotate the hips back, sending your weight into your heels. The thighs will squeeze together. Drop the tailbone down as the belly button pulls in. Arms are reaching forward, gaze is forward, looking out the tip of the nose. And if this is a little bit too much on the arms, you can always take them to the hips or heart center, whatever's feeling good. Here for one. Exhale as long as you can go. Exhale, forward fold. It's a little bit of work today, nothing crazy. Good, hands to shins, halfway rise. And back down. Good, from here, take a giant step back with the left foot. Ooh, feel free to set the left knee down. And then from here, we're gonna drop the outer edge of the left foot down. So our back foot is parallel to the mat. And then go ahead and windmill up a Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 pose, opening up through the chest, tailbone drops down, belly button is pulled in. And the reason we do that is we're always engaging the core in these poses. Pressing our right thigh to the right pinky toe, arms are gonna open up, shoulders drop back, and just check in here. Notice if your left arm is dropping down. We wanna keep that parallel, keep the chest open, and then if it's available, just sink in a little bit more. And holding here, another inhale, exhale. Good, on your next breath in, flip the right palm up towards the ceiling. Drop the left arm down the left leg as the right arm extends up and over for graceful warrior. Just taking a few breaths. Last one in. Good, and exhale, come up to a T, back to Virabhadrasana 2, and then drop your right arm down to the right thigh as the left arm extends up and over. Using that forearm to open up the hip, holding here for a few breaths. Now, if you're a little bit more flexible, you might be able to take that right arm down to the mat. If you're here and you notice that the left shoulder is caving in, consider just putting a block there or a book, or maybe just start up a little higher on the knee. And then the more flexible you get, the lower to the floor you'll be able to go. So it's all about creating space and opening up rather than caving in and suffering. So hold here. Let's take a couple breaths. And last breath in. And exhale. Press into the heel. Let's come up one more warrior 2. That's a tough one. Good. Straighten the right leg. Turn the toes in. We're just gonna rotate to the other side. So take your left toes, we're gonna point them to the back of the mat. Right foot is now parallel to the back of the mat, or front of the mat, and we'll hinge in to that left knee. Think about pressing that inner thigh towards the left pinky toe, keep the hips open. And if you need to keep the hands on the hips just to stay mindful in rotation, that's okay. Otherwise, arms are gonna come up, shoulders are gonna drop down, and gaze comes over the left fingertips. So these warrior poses can be a little tricky and strenuous, but it's good to find the calmness in all of them. This also really helps to build strength in your yoga practice, as well as core stability and flexibility within the hips. So stay here and exhale out. Good, left palm flips up towards the ceiling, drop the right hand back. As the left arm floats up, it's a good way to open up the side body, really reaching and extending out through the fingertips, being mindful of that front knee. It might try to straighten, sink into that hip. And last breath in. And And then exhale, warrior two. Use your core to bring you back up. Left arm drops down to the left thigh, right arm extends up to the ceiling. And just try to create that energy line down from that right foot all the way up through the side body, out through the fingertips, getting a little taller. Good, one more breath in. And exhale, warrior two. Good, turn those left toes in. We'll do one more little hop or heel toe it in. Whew, take it to the top of the mat, Tadasana. Hands down, Samasati. Shoulder back. Good, inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, halfway rise, gentle sun salutation here. And exhale through fold. Walker step to high plank. I'm going to give you the options of doing a full vinyasa here. So if you want a modified version, just go ahead and drop the knees down. But if you want to add a little challenge, hold yourself in high plank. Remember, as we lower down, arms drawn in, nice long body, roll over the toes, upward facing dog or cobra. Good, and then go ahead and set the knees down, roll the hips back, and relax in child's pose. Take a moment and catch your breath. And last breath in. And exhale. Good, from here we'll gently roll it up. And you're welcome here to cross the ankles, sit back and pull the legs through, or just drop over to one hip and swing the legs to the front. So we're just gonna get into a little bit of a bit more of a hamstring stretch. Can't use my words right now, that's okay. Sometimes I forget how to speak. So right foot is gonna stay down on the mat. We're gonna take the left leg and just cross it over the right. Remember to just flex that right foot so we can avoid injury in the knee. And depending on your flexibility, you might take that right heel close to the body. If that's a little bit too tight today, you can just extend it out a little further. Fingertips can face in towards the sits bones, or you can rotate them out. Again, it all depends on your flexibility, so there's no right or wrong way. What we want to focus here is on the hip. Now you might feel this somewhere else, that's okay. And hold here. Really think about pushing your chest in. You may not be able to tap your nose to your foot. You might not want to do that, depending on what your feet look like, but no judgment. Good, one more breath in. And exhale. From here, take that left foot. We're gonna just guide it to the side. And open up other side again, just massaging out those hip joints. And again, you might be able to take that foot all the way down. And back up. And rotate. Release the left foot down, maybe stretch it out a little bit. This is also good for the knee joints, just a couple little foot pedals. And we'll switch sides. Cross the right foot over the left. Again, flexing the foot to avoid injury in the knee. Lift. And depending on your flexibility, that's where your left heel is gonna move to. Otherwise, see if you can tap your nose to your foot or your shin. See how it's feeling. Take a breath in. Sending that exhale to anywhere you need to soften or relax. Good, and then from here, go ahead and rock that hip side to side. Opening up. Preparing our bodies for the work week. Ooh, my hip popped. It's a good sign. And you might be able to take the foot all the way down to the mat, maybe not. Again, it's nice to just check in, see how day, because the end of the week could be different. Good, and release. Go ahead and extend both legs out onto the floor. Pitter patter those legs. Maybe release the flesh from the sits bones. So we're coming as flat as we can to the floor for Dandasana. So bringing the arms up overhead. Lift up the ribs and exhale, forward fold. So don't worry if you can't touch your toes. That is not important today. It's just a nice way to stretch out the backs of the legs and leads up into the spine. So if you can grab the toes, maybe take your pointer finger, hook onto the two big toes, and pull in here. What we want to avoid is rounding the back. So if this is as far as you come, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all about hinging through the hips, not forcing our bodies into any position it's not quite ready for. So just let that go. Good, we'll take one more breath in. And then exhale, walk the hands back up the legs. From here, bring the knees in towards the chest and one vertebrae at a time. We're just going to roll onto the spine, pulling the knees into the heart. Hands come around the knees and just rock it out side to side. So maybe drop the knees over to the right. As the left arm comes out to the side, gaze goes and follows those left fingertips. Right hand can drape over the left leg just for support. And hold here, focusing on getting that left shoulder down to the floor. And other side, bringing the knees to the left. Right arm comes out to the side, gaze follows. Left arm comes on top of the right knee just as support, and hold in your twist. And back through center. Good, go ahead and extend those legs out onto the mat. Bringing the arms up overhead. The hands down to the mat, flatten the feet, knees facing the ceiling. From here, push into the heels, roll the tailbone in, and push through the heels to lift that lower body up. So if you have any pain in the lower back, this is a great posture to come into. This really helps with the sciatic nerve and any lower back pain you might be feeling. So this has a ton of benefits. It's helping to strengthen the glutes, the hamstrings, and also the back. So just hold here. You're always welcome to roll the shoulders underneath. Try to keep the neck nice and stable in this. Even if you're turning to look at the computer, just be mindful of your neck and try to protect that. So holding one last breath. And then exhale, slowly lower the hips back down to the mat, just like you're dropping a string of pearls to a table. And just gently windshield wiper those legs side to side. If you want to come into a counter pose, pulling the knees into the heart, that's also an option. But when you're ready, just go ahead and extend those legs out on the mat one last time. We'll bring the arms up above. Like a longer one. You're welcome to just pause this video, turn off some lights, light some candles, get into it, and relax as long as you want. Otherwise, just go ahead and let the hands come down by the sides. Palms will face up towards the ceiling. Feel free to close the eyes, slightly tucking out the chin just to lengthen out the back of the neck. Finding a little bit of stillness in the body. Letting the thighs rest heavy. And allowing the fingertips to wiggle and the toes to curl in. Allowing the head to rock side to side. Bringing the knees up and the feet flat on the floor. We'll just windshield wiper those knees side to side one more time. And then pulling the knees into the chest, rounding out the lower back. Again, rocking it out side to side. This also helps to work through any inflammation you might have built up on the back. So this is another pose that's really good to come into. Very calming pose. So you can feel free to keep your eyes closed throughout the practice if you'd like. If you need to blink them open just to see your surroundings. That's also okay, but just try to control your breath nice and steady here. Just taking your time, being a little bit more present in these last few minutes of class. So when you're ready, you're welcome to turn over to one side just to relax down, or if you'd like, you can just rock and roll from the tailbone up into the neck until you find yourself in a seated position. Left over right or right over left, whatever feels more natural for you. Taking the hands on top of the thighs and allowing yourself to sit up nice and tall. Slightly tucking the chin again just to lengthen out the back of the neck. And then just drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Think about anchoring the left shoulder down to the mat. Roll the chin to chest. Left ear, left shoulder. Chin to chest. And tilting it back up through center. Go ahead and look over the right shoulder, maybe slightly behind you. And look over the left shoulder. Drop the chin to chest. And drop the head back. And just rolling out the neck any other which way you need. Maybe just drawing small circles with the head. Going a few times in one direction. And then rotating in the opposite direction, nice and slow, getting out any last minute snap, crackle, or pops. And back through center. My neck sounds like bubble wrap today, and that is okay by me. So bringing the hands to heart center, eyes will look down at the fingertips, thumbs are pointed at the heart. Go ahead and take one last deep breath in, filling up with this new vital energy. And exhale out any stress, negativity, or anything that no longer serves you. Thank you guys so much for joining this Monday practice. I hope everyone has a fantastic and awesome week, and we will see you next Monday for more bar and yoga. Thank you so much. Namaste.